Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and let's talk about Chuck Dixon saying that James Gunn don't know his audience for the DCU. Thank you. Finally, someone with some goddamn sense, because clearly these morons that are running WB said, hey, let's make James Gunn the perfect person to run DC, even though, he has a different kind of film style. He really only messes with lesser known characters. But no, let's actually put the weirdo pedophilia guy who actually had a birthday party theme like that in charge of DC characters. And you think like, yeah, he definitely knows how to make DC movies. Yeah, okay, even though his two DC projects didn't really do that well for the studio, but sure, yes, that makes the most damn logical sense. So anyway, in T-Way, legendary DC comic book writer Chuck Dixon shares his thoughts on James Gunn upcoming DCU slate. And he shared his thoughts during episode of Ask Chuck Dixon on his YouTube channel. And he was asked, what do you think about it? And he said, well, it kind of looks like a mixed bag to me. I got to wonder if Gunn's proposal list is for real. Like, is it a wish list? Are these things actually going on to be put on a schedule? It seems like an ambitious list. Seems like a lot of stuff. It seems like he's going to be writing a lot of it. And I mean, if he writes all the things he said that he's going to be writing, he's not going to be leaving the house anytime soon. But I gotta wonder, is this just a pie in the sky? Is this just a wish list? He wondered. He also continued, some of the themes seem extremely underwhelming. Some of the things seems to exist only to check boxes. Quite frankly, I don't care. I know you don't want to hear that, but I don't care. Me neither, Chuck. At this point, I don't care. I've lost all kinds of care for the DC universe. Anyway, it's really hard to get behind WB and DC stuff, especially after the way they treated Zach, after the way they treated fans who actually want the product, the fans who actually put their heart and soul into restore the Snyderverse. I know some people will be like, oh, that's toxic or whatever, but no, it's not. That's not toxic. Those people have put time and effort into wanting a vision finished, and instead of the studio finishing that vision, they's like, no, we're going to do our own thing. And then when they did their own thing, it failed. Now they're like, oh, we're going to do a soft reboot. Come on now. That don't make no damn logical sense. And he said, I've never seen a DC movie, DC-based movies that I've ever liked. And I don't think I'll ever see one, which is understandable because he wrote these characters. So I understand. It's the same thing when I talked to George Perez about the Titans adaptations, and he said he doesn't watch any adaptation of his Titans because they're his babies, and he feels like they don't really get the characters, and that's understandable. I mean, you created these characters, this franchise of characters, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's kind of like gone. So, I mean, not gone, but it's been adapted, but it's either being changed to where the characters aren't even who they are. They don't even look like they look, especially with Titans. A lot of characters have been race swapped. Costumes don't even look nowhere close to the costume designs that George Perez and Mark Wolfman worked on. So I get it. I get it. I definitely get it. And I definitely get why Chuck Dixon, of course, doesn't watch it either, because he created some characters, and he wrote a lot of these characters just for them to be adapted incorrectly. So I get it. I really do get it. as somebody who, as an artist, a writer, creative kind of person, I do get it. You want to see. I'm not saying they got to be a 1-to-1, but you want your characters and stuff to be adapted as close to accurate as possible. You know what I'm saying? And there's no excuse for why these characters aren't adapted correctly when you have the source material right in front of you, but yet you choose not to do it. That's a dumbass choice, honestly. And now that we move so far away from the source material, really, I have no interest in it. And that's understandable. That's understandable. And he also said that the choices of Gunn to basically be a basket that they put all their eggs in, and I don't understand given his track record. Thank you, Chuck Dixon, because his track record is not all that fucking impressive. And everybody always keep trying to bring up Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And it's just like, yeah, but that was part of a fucking franchise of films in the MCU. It's not like it was a standalone fucking movie. Yes, he had enormous success with Guardians of the Galaxy, but if you look at over the rest of his film that he's been involved with, it's okay. I mean, they earned money, but they weren't blockbusters. They weren't really huge. Really, the only big thing he's involved is Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about, Chuck. Like, you know exactly what I'm saying. Like, everybody keep trying to bring up fucking Guardians. That is just one fucking drop in the bucket compared to Zack Snyder, who actually made WB money. Like, let's stop pretending like his movies didn't make the damn studio money. It did. No matter how much people want to try to pretend like, oh no, yes the hell it did. Yes the hell it did. You just don't want to admit it because y'all too proud about it, because some of y'all have unnecessary hatred for the man, but it made money regardless. You can get mad all you want to. The truth is in the pudding. While I find a lot of his stuff entertaining, over time you can kind of see the notes coming up. I'm kind of particular with his repertoire. I don't see how it's going to translate to DC, and I don't understand why in an industry like entertainment, where everything is about conversation of risk, you would hand over everything to one guy. They barely did that with Zack, and they interfered with Zack every step of the way. But yet, Gunn, oh, we're not going to step in at all. We're going to let him do whatever the fuck he wants to, even though he hasn't improved himself at all. At fucking all. Now, I understand there's other films in that production that he won't be involved with, but the idea is, as I see it, that once all of those films are finished and released, everything coming out of DC in movies and television is going to be Gunn, and all Gunn all the time. I don't see how that can take a slate like that and have any hits. There's no diversity of thoughts or approach. Everything is going to be seen through the lens of one guy. For some reason, I don't think James Gunn is Louis B. Mayer, and I don't think he knows what his audience wants, because he doesn't. He only wants to do what the fuck he wants to do. And Dixon also pointed out that how Gunn's slate appears to be rather based on newer comics rather than the core DC stories. The other thing I find perplexing is that so much of this new material is going on basically relatively new comics that appeared within the last decade or so. These are not the core basic DC properties or DC stories. Thank you. Batman Brave and the Bold, which is based off of Grant Morrison's shit, ain't that damn long. All-Star Superman is an alternate reality take of Superman, ain't that goddamn long ago. And goddamn, the Green Lantern stuff is fucking based off of Grant Morrison's shit. And Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, was literally based last year. So there's a problem. Yes, The Authority came out in the 90s, but that is such a off-brand of DC comic books. It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. And then he also said that there are like recent reboots, reiteration, or reimagining, and that's fine, except they're not comics that sold particularly well. They're not on the record. They're not record breakers. They might have been among bestseller things at DC, but that's kind of like saying, well, the turtle came in first in the turtle race. It's not going to be back to classic material. It's also not going back to material that I think is finding a universal audience. So for me, it's both concerning, and I don't care, and I really don't care. Oh God. But yeah, Chuck Dixon is calling out James Gunn and said that he doesn't really know his audience. And I have to agree. I already said that he doesn't know his audience. And basically we're getting the Gunverse, even though James Gunn said it's not. It's the Gunverse, just like Snyder never said it was a Snyderverse, but people called it the Snyderverse. So it's the fucking Gunverse. Anything, he's in charge of the damn universe. It's the fucking Gunverse. They can try all they want to and say that it's not. It's the fucking Gunverse. That's what it is from now on. And this is the choices that they gave us. And yet, you think that some of us supposed to be okay with that bullshit. Look, at this point, I know I done said it several times over that I don't care. But I am going to goddamn criticize every step of the fucking way. I am allowed to. And I will tear everything up to thunder. You know what I'm saying? You got 2025. It is 2023. Look, you should have had a goddamn movie being filmed. Oh wait, you did have stuff on the slate, but you got rid of them. You got rid of it because you too proud to beg, right? Because Henry Cavill wasn't important enough. But then, but Gal Gadot might be still being Wonder Woman, but Ben Affleck is also out as Batman. So you're just gonna do what the previous regime was doing when they were trying to get rid of all the fucking the two leads of DCEU, and then replace it for fucking female characters, or try to reintroduce a different version of Batman and Superman that nobody asked for. It is so goddamn weird, and it's weird that people think that this shit is supposed to be okay. It is not okay. It is terrible, my dudes. It is really terrible. And I tend to agree with the legendary comic book writer Chuck Dixon, who actually knows DC more so than Gunn, and more so than these cosplayers, these fake. I'm just gonna say your fake fans who just only watch the shit for the movies or the video games. A lot of y'all swear that y'all know this shit, but you don't know this shit because you don't read these comic books. I've went back in the past and read DC comic books. And I've talked to a lot of the writers before the late 2000s who knew these, who knew the DC universe before. Oh, let's reboot the universe, before it got a little bit gruesome or whatever, stuff like that. So it is weird that you have somebody who really doesn't have a good track record of movies, and they give the keys over to him over somebody who actually had a good track record in movies, and said that his idea was stupid, even though when his cut came out, his version of a movie came out, people were so hyped to see where it was going to go next. And you wipe that away and ask your fans, hey, let's go ahead and soft reboot the universe, and hope you guys join along. No, kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. I know some people say we should just give up on it and all that kind of stuff. That's fine, but you can't get mad that people put 10 years of their time into a film franchise and then they don't get no payoff. Marvel was able to give a payoff, but then DC don't want to give a payoff because they too proud. Because they think it's a dead end. Are you fucking kidding me? How the fuck is a Justice League 2, 3 that leads up to a Dark Side War is a damn not a good payoff, bitch? Peter Safran, your monkey ass don't know shit about damn Justice League then. You don't know nothing about DC. It needs to lead up to some kind of event. Like, if you're going to, if y'all the ones who base the DCEU off of the New 52, a darker take of the DC universe, a realistic take of the DC universe, a post 9/11 universe. Okay, great, that's fine. So understand that leads up to a big conflict with Darkseid. And when that big conflict with Darkseid that's where you got the rebirth of the new DC universe, where everybody went back to their classic roots. That's how you could have salvage the DCEU. Let Snyder finish out that stuff. Or even if it wasn't Snyder doing it, you have the notes. All you gotta do is tweak it a little bit. That's all you gotta do. Finish up the movies. All you gotta do is give Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck several solo movies. You give Ben Affleck 3 solo movies. You give Henry Cavill 2 more, and then you give Gal Gadot 1 more. You do 2 Justice League movies. You do maybe a Flash 2 movie, and a Green Lantern movie, and then you lead up to Darkseid War, and then bam, DC Rebirth. And then even if after that, if you wanted to be so bold, you could have did something like Doomsday Clock. And towards the end, that way Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and all the actors had their little bow at the DC universe. And then when the universe kind of got like a soft reboot, restart, bam, new actors would be in their place. You get what I'm saying? You didn't think about that. You didn't think. Of course y'all don't think. But it is what it is. I'm so glad Chuck Dixon said it, because somebody with a brain is talking truth. But those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.